My name is Curtis Dale. I upload YouTube tutorial videos about music production. This tutorial is a little bit different than what you guys might have expected if you follow me on SoundCloud and YouTube and Facebook and all that. A lot of people thought it was going to be about the synths in the drop, when in reality, this tutorial, as you can tell from the title, if you're watching it right now, which you are, is make some banging kick drums that really pop out of the mix. So let's listen to the sample track and then we'll get into how to make the kick really stand out. As you can see, it's hardly even being compressed. We could probably compress it even more, or just turn up the kick if we're really going for it. Like, it doesn't sound great when you turn up the kick that much, but we could turn it up more. I like it around right there. First, I'm gonna point out to you what's going on here is the sidechaining, because that's really the most important thing. And second, I'm gonna go over the processing on the kick, which is like what effects I added to the kick and how I made it sound that way, and why I did what I did to make it sound that way. So right now, this is what this sounds like right now, without being mastered. The kick stands out quite a lot. Now, if we turn off this little LFO tool here, which is basically turning off the sidechain, watch how easily it is to lose the kick in the mix. It sounds less professional, and it's kind of been shoved to the background. So what this does is, I'm sure most of you know this already, but as the sound plays, basically the volume of the drop right here, which is these two audio clips, follows this envelope, so, and it repeats every quarter beat. So when I press play, every time there's a kick drum, the volume ducks to 0, which is this level here, and then not very slowly, pretty quickly actually, comes right up to full volume right after the kick hits, and right before the next one comes, it dips down again. This part where it dips down again isn't necessary. I just found that it sounded better for this particular song. So make sure that you sidechain it. If you don't have LFO tool to sidechain, you can sidechain using compression. Look up a tutorial for that. And if you don't want to use compression sidechaining, you can just zoom in and use volume automation. So just go near your kick and make some anchor points. But that's not my preferred method. So I like to keep it straight across and have LFO tool on. And then, of course, it might not sound the best when you have it like this, but as soon as you stick a master on there, sounds absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about what's going on the kick layer. This here is our kick drum sample. It's from the Leviathan pack. You can buy that online. This sample was originally this long. What I did was I shortened it so I know how much I have to handle. So for the side chaining, so I know how long the volume has to be ducked for before I can bring it back up, because you want the whole kick to be, except for the tail here. But as you can see from the shape of this, if we make it a little bigger this way, it gets loud, quiet, loud, quieter, and then louder again at the end for the tail. This kick actually has a lot of dynamics for a kick drum sample. I had a little mild click at the end of it because I cut it, so I just faded it out by about 9, I think it's milliseconds, 11, whatever, it doesn't matter. You could probably fade out this volume boost to get rid of it. That sounds pretty good. So just a shorter, sharper sample. Just use the volume curve to make it sound more natural. And then what I did is, this is the original sample here. The first thing I did is added an EQ. I need to use another EQ to show you exactly what I did. So this EQ you're not putting, I'm just using this to show you with the analyzer. If we look, we see a peak right here at about, what is that, 63 hertz. So what I did is, on the equalizer I added, I cut underneath the 63 hertz. It's unnecessary information. Not a lot of people even have sound systems that can play that audio, and it doesn't matter in most electronic dance music genres. In house music, you might want to keep that. In electro, dubstep, stuff like that, you might want to get rid of it. It doesn't actually really matter. It just makes your mixing a little bit easier. I cut around 200 hertz after it. Basically, I just listened to the sound and cut out any frequencies that I didn't like. or were unnecessary to the sound. Like if I cut them and they didn't sound any different, perfect, because I'm changing the volume of the kick. So that's what I did here. This spike here, this big tall one, what I did with that is I was actually changing the sound of the click in the kick. So if we play it, and I turn that one off, which is, I have to find it, this one. You can hear it's a little bit different. So that's what I was doing with this EQ, cutting where I could until I ran out of shapes up here. So I added another EQ, which is this one here, and I literally just listened to the sound and cut frequencies with sharp downwards peaks wherever I found that they didn't make a difference in the sound. So I'm just cutting volume, cutting volume, cutting volume. After that I added a compressor, and I just compressed it by 8%, 9%. This is sausage fatter, so it's not exactly an exact science in how it works, but it sounds really good on drums. So that's where we got to. And then with the side chaining, and then obviously in our master has something to do with the kick's poppiness too. The stereo imaging, if we just look at our kick and none of this other stuff, we want our mid-range to be looking like this, so a little wider, because regularly it's like that. So I just brought it up a little bit. Don't just look at the image, obviously listen to it too. Our high end should be pretty centralized. It's pretty good. It has some width, but it sounds pretty mono, so it's good. Just pay attention to how it sounds. High end can be a bit wider, that's good. And then we have our sub bass finally, which is all center. It's all mono, which is exactly what you want. In the EQ, I've boosted the low end in the mids by 1 decibel and cut the highs by 1 decibel. And on the sides, I've boosted the highs by 1 decibel and cut the lows by 1 decibel. I've also added a slight tube distortion to the whole thing, except for the high highs, because it sounds really cheesy when you do that. After all that, this is where the magic happens, the final compressor. It's the loudest part of the song, so it's actually the only thing getting compressed, because I've already compressed the synths. So if you compress your synths and turn the volume and side chain them to your kick, then in the final compressor, you're just compressing your kicks, and that makes them even louder. You compress it even more than that. You're pretty much safe until about 5 decibels of gain reduction. So this is a little bit of an exaggerated example of getting your kick to sound poppy, because if I was going to actually release the song, I would turn down the kick quite a bit. That's the electro drop. Where's the kick? Let me see here. There's the kick. I'd turn it down quite a bit until it was kind of compressing everything. That's more like something I would do. But if you want to make a kick nice and poppy, boost the volume and compress a lot. That's basically the gist of what I'm telling you. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the tutorial, stop by my page, watch some other ones if you're into learning about music production. Maybe listen to some of my music. That would be really great for me, obviously. I mean, I don't need to say that. You guys know that. Cool. Talk to you later. Goodbye.